Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH the Flame Emperor episode number 189 based on novel. So let's start. It's really a splendid training room. Xiao Yan's figure sat directly in the training room, and then spoke slowly. The space in this training room is huge, and there are a lot of Emperor Qi pouring in from all directions. For practitioners, it has a lot of effects to improve the speed of training. It's better to be safe. Although the safety of this training room is high, Xiao Yang still set up a soul barrier for the sake of safety. After all, the Xiao family is quite taboo on the Dodi continent, so Xiao Yang naturally wants to be careful. Since everything for resurrecting the ancestors is now ready, don't be in a hurry. In half a year, I'll first practice the 7th layer breaking sky ruler and shifting sky ruler, and then open the scrolls in the Bright Moon ruins to prepare for the sect competition. After that, the ancestors will be resurrected. Xiao Yang thought about his plan and then said, although I was very much looking forward to the secrets of the Xiao clan, but for the sake of the sect competition, I had to hold back my excitement first. The power of the 7th level breaking sky ruler should not be underestimated. Today, in the early stage of the 7-star Dodi, I can barely learn the 6th ruler. If you work hard, the 7th foot is not a bad idea. In addition to the fighting technique of moving the sky ruler, which combines auxiliary attacks. I'm afraid that after I really master it, the 8-star Do Emperor and below, as long as there are no accidents, it is estimated that it is difficult to meet an opponent. Xiao Yang said in his heart. If that's the case, let's start. Xiao Yang made up his mind and immediately took off the ancient ruler of eternal fire and held it in the palm of his hand, slowly pouring pure power into it. Strange, isn't this holy flame and the Emperor's flame incompatible? When Xiao Yang was just preparing to practice, he used the power in his body to discover this strange thing. Ever since he devoured the holy flame, Xiao Yang had slightly tried to use the holy flame to fuse with the Emperor's flame, but he had no choice but to fail. The feeling of fusion is like two things that are incompatible with each other. If they were to be fused together, Xiao Yang would probably explode and die. However, Xiao Yang was also puzzled. Although Sheng Yang was more terrifying than Emperor Yang was the product of the fusion of as many as 23 kinds of different fires. How could the fusion be so difficult? When I was in the Doqi continent, the fusion of different fires was a big killer, but now I use the fusion of Di Yang and Sheng Yang. This kind of attack seems to be no good. Xiao Yang shook his head slowly, and then he didn't think about this issue anymore. Prepare to practice the 7th level breaking heaven ruler. 7th layer breaking the sky ruler. 1 foot, 3-step swimming ruler. 2 feet of waves stack up to 1,000. 3-foot footed shadows. 4-foot shattering ruler. 5 feet imprisoned in the sky. 6 feet away. 7 feet breaking the sky. Xiao Yang sat down calmly, and the training method of the 7th layer breaking the sky echoed in his mind. Although these 7-layered sky-shattering rulers are only low-level fighting skills of the immortal rank, they are all 7 feet together, and their power is close to the fighting skills of the holy rank, so Xiao Yang also wants to use it as a killer. My current strength, in the early stage of 7-star Dodi, should be able to barely cultivate to the 6th level. As for the 7th level, I'm afraid it will require the strength of the 8-star Dodi. Xiao Yang said after feeling it in his heart. Although Xiao Yang can also forcefully display the 7th foot, the price is quite expensive, so it is not worth it. As a last resort, Xiao Yang would not act rashly. When I was in the Bright Moon ruins before, I used the first 5 feet. In the next time, I will review the first 5 feet first, and then learn the 6th level. I had a plan in my heart, and then I didn't hesitate. 1 day. 2 days. 5 days passed. For the past 5 days, Xiao Yang has been working hard in the training room to cultivate the first 5 feet of the 7th layer sky-shattering ruler, and the progress has been rapid. I am afraid that now, just relying on the first 5 feet, he is not afraid to deal with some mid-stage 7-star Do Emperor powerhouses. It's time. Xiao Yang slowly recovered his breath, and then sensed the dazzling ancient ruler of different fire on the palm of his hand, and said. Xiao Yang seemed to know that the ancient ruler of the different fires born from the fusion of the different fires is not simple, but the secret of his life experience, I am afraid it will be difficult to find out for a while. 7th layer breaking the sky, the 6th one, Hua Li. A light hum slightly erupted from Xiao Yang's mouth, and then the entire training room became extremely unstable, and above the wide ruler of Ihua Hungu, a silent power suddenly emerged. Go. Xiao Yang tried his best to suppress his strength, and then walked away towards a rock not far in front of him. Boom, boom, boom. In a blink of an eye, the rock turned into powder. This 6th foot is really terrifying. Xiao Yan was extremely shocked when he took back the ancient ruler of Yihuaheng. The 7-layered sky-breaking ruler really lived up to its reputation. Just the power generated by this 6th foot, Xiao Yan has no doubt that it is comparable to the pinnacle of immortal-level fighting skills. Feeling a little excited in his heart, he immediately started to practice. Following Xiao Yan's practice, his mastery of the 7th-layered sky-shattering ruler became even more perfect. There are so many secrets in this kid. I never imagined that this method is actually something of a 7-foot wandering immortal. Within Xiao Yan's body, the soul-devouring talisman surrounded by gloomy runes suddenly made a slight sound. You know? The Golden Dragon King was right next to the Soul Eater talisman, and naturally asked out of his mouth. There was a relationship. Although the strength of this 7-footed wandering immortal is not enough to rank among the powerhouses in the Great Thousand Worlds, it has also killed a lot of foreign evil races, so I have some impressions. The Lord of Soul Eater said slightly. 7 feet together, I'm afraid you can't handle it now, right? The Golden Dragon King laughed when he heard this. I am now seriously injured, how can I? The Soul Eater heard the words and was in a hurry, but what the Golden Dragon King said was indeed the truth. The power of 7 feet is too strong to suppress himself. You're leaving? After a while, the Soul Eater suddenly spoke. I'm going to deal with some other things. The Golden Dragon King's voice suddenly became deep, and then his tone was extremely solemn. I heard it a long time ago. Since the war, the Dragon Clan has been in chaos. It's time for you to go back. The Lord of Soul Eater seemed to know a lot, so he said. When I leave, I hope you will help my disciple 1 or 2. The Golden Dragon King thought for a while, but decided to speak. After all, no matter what, as the king of the Dragon Clan, the Lord of Soul Eater will definitely be a little moved. It's easy to say, I still hope this kid will let me recover. The Lord of Soul Eater did not shy away, one said. He is from the Xiao clan. The Golden Dragon King Zaidu said. Xiao clan? How could it be possible? At this time, as soon as the Golden Dragon King's voice fell, the Soul Eater Lord, who was hidden in the Soul Eater talisman, suddenly shouted. The Xiao family's secrets are too big, and I don't want to talk about it too much, but this kid should indeed be the last member of the Xiao family who is still on the bright side. The Golden Dragon King said something. No wonder I always find it strange. The next moment, the Master of Soul Eater also muttered, with 2 names on the corner of his mouth, as if he had thought of something. But there's one thing I don't quite understand. When the evil tribes from outside the territory attacked the Dacian world on a large scale, the most powerful 7 realms in the Dacian world united. Among them, the Xiao family can be said to be the existence of phoenix feathers and water chestnuts in the human world. In that war between heaven and earth, the Xiao clan only relied on the power of one clan to kill countless foreign evil clans, and in the end, several Xiao clan were able to burn themselves, and just barely managed to protect the Great Thousand World, but after defeating the foreign evil clan, the Xiao clan failed. It just disappeared. Since then, there has been news from the center of the human world that the Xiao clan burned the power of the entire clan to suppress the evil clan outside the territory during the war between heaven and earth, so the entire clan was destroyed. However, in my opinion, this news seems a little unbelievable. The powerful strength of the Xiao clan can be learned from heaven and earth. Even if they pay a terrible price in the end, it is impossible to keep their blood. The Master of Soul Eater wondered. I don't know much about what happened back then, but there must be something shameful in it. This time I went back for this. The Golden Dragon King said. I will take care of you, your disciple. The Soul Eater hesitated and said. If the Xiao clan really has something to hide, then the powerhouses in the center of the human world will probably not end well in the future. Yes. The Golden Dragon King nodded slightly, and then Zaidu returned to quietness in Najie. The first 6 feet of the 7th layer breaking sky ruler and Ichen ruler are almost the same. In the current state, the heaven shifting ruler should be able to perform 2 feet, and the 7th layer heaven shattering ruler should be able to perform 6 feet, and I am afraid that it can only perform 3 feet. Xiao Yang thought to himself. Since that's the case, it's time to see what scrolls were obtained from the Bright Moon ruins. At the next moment, Xiao Yang was no longer struggling with the 7th layer heaven shattering ruler and the heaven moving ruler. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Yang took out a scroll from his acceptance ring. Just as he took out the scroll, the ancient smell was slowly exuding. Xiao Yang could feel that there must be treasures in this scroll. This scroll, I hope you won't let me down. Xiao Yang's mouth had a hint of heat, staring at the pale yellow scroll above his palm, Through the pale yellow scroll, Xiao Yan could feel an extremely terrifying fluctuation from the inside radiate out. "Open it and take a look," Xiao Yang said softly. "Can't you open it?" Xiao Yang gently put his hands towards the pale yellow scroll, trying to open it, and the force was not too heavy, for fear of breaking it. However, what Xiao Yang did not expect was that the firmness of this pale yellow scroll had far exceeded his estimation. "Soul power, open it for me." The next moment, Xiao Yang urged his huge soul power to go towards the pale yellow scroll, trying to use his soul power to open it. Crash! The huge soul force slanted away like a spring, but when it touched the pale yellow scroll, it disappeared out of thin air. It felt like it was being swallowed up. "Good guy." At this moment, Xiao Yang's brows wrinkled. Obviously he was also curious about this scroll. As we all know, scrolls are things that record fighting skills or exercises, and the scroll in front of him, according to Xiao Yang's perception, must record fighting skills, and the more precious fighting skills, the more sophisticated the means of protection. The power of Holy Flame. After a while, Xiao Yang directly used his trump card. Boom boom boom. The khaki Holy Flame just appeared, and immediately intertwined with the pale yellow scroll on Xiao Yang's palm, forming a rather beautiful scene. Damn it, what the hell? With the power of Holy Flame burning the pale yellow scroll for a few minutes, but there was no sign of opening it, Xiao Yang couldn't help but swear. What is the power of Holy Flame? This is one of the most powerful things in the world, and now it can't even crack a fighting skill scroll. It looks like this kid has found the treasure, but I don't know how you want to open it. At this time, the Golden Dragon King sensed Xiao Yang's emotions and remained silent. No, this thing is too mysterious, and I can't open it with all my strength. Xiao Yang dissipated the power of the Holy Flame, carefully looked at the yellow scroll on the palm of his hand, and found that after all his tossing, there were no traces of it. Did not stay. Since this thing is in the Jiaoyue ruins, could it be? The next moment, Xiao Yang seemed to have thought of something, and immediately opened his mouth. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Yang took out the Heavenly King Ginseng. The body of Tianwang Ginseng possesses extremely terrifying strength. With such strength in the ruins of Bright Moon, it will definitely not be a nameless person, so Xiao Yang has a bold idea. As soon as the body of Tianwang Ginseng was taken out, a strong fragrance hit the nostrils. At the same time, the light yellow scroll that had been unable to open suddenly produced a slight movement, which was naturally noticed by Xiao Yang. Sure enough, there is something. Seeing this, Xiao Yang said in surprise. Since Heavenly King Ginseng is something in the Bright Moon ruins, and this scroll was obtained from the Bright Moon ruins, Xiao Yang also holds the attitude of holding a dead horse as a living horse. Doctor, try it out. Is there any way to open the scroll? But Xiao Yang succeeded. Come out. Xiao Yang used his huge soul power to directly infuse a trace of power from the Heavenly King Ginseng onto the yellowish scroll, and then the scroll suddenly became restless. Boom boom boom. In the next instant, a dazzling light flashed out of the entire training room, and the yellowish scroll slowly appeared. 2 scroll fighting skills? Xiao Yang's eyes were fixed on the 2 groups of milky white light that emerged from the yellowish scroll. With his keen perception, Xiao Yang could clearly feel that the formidable power contained in the 2 groups of rays of light in front of him was no weaker than Tian Tian Kai. The heaven-shifting ruler is a Hola-level fighting skill, so it is enough to show the value of the things contained in the 2 groups of rays of light in front of you. It seems that this time, I should have found a treasure. After a brief period of surprise, Xiao Yang smiled and slowly looked at the 2 dazzling lights in front of him. Then let me see what it is. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, the huge soul force directly invaded the light group on the right. At that time, a huge stream of information was like water flowing slowly in the training room. Sounded. This scroll is divided into 2 parts, 1 finger and 1 punch. When matched together, the power is comparable to that of an intermediate-level saint-level fighting skill. They are the 4 fingers of the sky and the 3 fists of good fortune. The firmament of the sky, the fingers can be flexed, the fist of creation, shakes the heavens and the earth. The 4 fingers of the sky and the 3 fists of good fortune. You can tell just by hearing the name. It's such a magnificent fighting skill. Looking at this introduction, I'm afraid the power is comparable to the fighting skills of the middle-level saints. Hehe, I really found a treasure now. The corner of Xiao Yang's mouth laughed. According to the fighting skills of this intermediate level of the holy rank, I am afraid that the current Xiao Yang is enough to use the holy flame and this technique to have the strength to fight against the 8-star fighting emperor. What about the cultivation method? But the next moment, Xiao Yang tried to inspect the light group on the left, but there was nothing inside. The other one. Xiao Yang was horrified, and immediately checked the other light group. No! How is that possible? After a while, the two light groups were all inspected by Xiao Yang, but apart from a brief introduction that invaded the light group at the beginning, there was absolutely nothing else. Not to mention recording the cultivation methods of the 4 fingers in the sky and the 3 fist of fortune, there is not even a trace of strength. Don't bring such a fool. A moment ago, Xiao Yang felt that he had found a treasure, but at this moment, Xiao Yang seemed to have been tricked, and his face turned dusty. It's really bad luck. Xiao Yang swept away his sleeves, and the dazzling power of holy flame emerged directly, trying to dissipate the two groups of light. And following Xiao Yang's actions, the two light groups, under the pressure of Xiao Yang Shenyang, slowly merged together. What's the situation? Confused by this sudden scene, Xiao Yang couldn't help but say, "Are all young people now so irritable?" Just when Xiao Yang was puzzled, a beautiful figure slowly stepped out from the two light groups that merged into one. Just taking one step, the terrifying fluctuations brought about by that graceful arc also made Xiao Yang feel like he was facing a formidable enemy. Xiao Yang raised his head, and a shocking scene slowly appeared in front of him. I saw the figure, surrounded by white mist, and through the white mist, I could vaguely see that the skin like thin ice was particularly attractive, and the icy aura on the body, a cold aura that was thousands of miles away, emerged. This is Bright Moon Fairy? Xiao Yang couldn't help but be surprised when he finished speaking. Xiao Yang had seen fairy moonlight in the moonlight ruins, so he naturally had some impressions. You seem to have some of my aura on you, although it is very weak. That Qianying looked at Xiao Yang, and then said, "The breath of the fairy moon?" Xiao Yang was surprised when he heard the words. But after thinking about it, that aura might be because Yueru possessed fairy moon's inheritance rune, which more or less passed on some extremely weak power remaining on Xiao Yang. Junior Xiao Yang, I have seen the senior. Seeing this, Xiao Yang had a brain move and spoke directly. Xiao Yang. A good name. After hearing Fairy Moon's afterimage, she seemed to have thought of something, and said softly, "Are you from the Xiao clan?" After a while, the fairy moonlight suddenly stared at Xiao Yang with beautiful eyes, revealing every word. Yes. Xiao Yang heard the words, but his eyes did not evade, because Xiao Yang seemed to know something about Fairy Moon, so he also wanted to know some news from her mouth. I didn't expect that the Xiao clan still had clan members left, which really surprised me. As expected, you should have risen from the lower plane, right? Fairy Moon asked. Yes. Xiao Yang was surprised when he heard this. This Fairy Moon is actually so many things just with such a simple glance. It seems that her strength is also extremely terrifying. Being able to break through the shackles from the lower plane and come here is also considered to be your unique talent. But it is for this reason that you escaped that catastrophe. Fairy Moon said slowly. The catastrophe? Could it be related to the disappearance of our Xiao clan in Dudi Sifeng continent? Xiao Yang said with a frown upon hearing this. Xiao Yang, remember that when your strength is not strong enough, you must not reveal the identity of the Xiao clan, otherwise, what awaits you will only be the result of doom. Furthermore, be careful of the powerhouses in the human world. When your Xiao family had an accident, there must be an indescribable relationship with them. I'm afraid you still need to explore the relationship between this. Fairy Moon said solemnly. Xiao Yang could see that every time he mentioned a strong person in the human world, even a strong person such as Fairy Moon, was flickering with fear. Junior wrote it down. By the way, how did you fall, senior? Xiao Yang suddenly asked. It seems that it was plotted by the evil clan outside the realm, but as time goes by, I can't remember it clearly. Fairy Moonlight sighed slightly and said immediately, I don't know, senior. Xiao Yang was about to stop talking, but just wanted to continue, but the words stopped. My current situation is just an afterimage. The purpose of existence is to pass on this fighting skill. As for the past, I can't remember clearly. Fairy Moonlight said afterimage. But it's okay, since you got this scroll, then you have a destiny with this seat. This set of fighting skills will naturally be taught to you. This set of fighting skills is extremely tyrannical. With it, I can fight against a 3-star fighting fairy and become invincible. I am only a 2-star fighting fairy. Fairy Moon said slowly. Junior thanked my senior. Xiao Yang was overjoyed when he heard this. The afterimage of this Fairy Moon fairy's light is similar to that of Fen Tian, the master of the Fenxiang Pavilion. If it is a real Fairy Moon, I am afraid it is more powerful than Fenxiang. I'll pass on the cultivation method to you. After a while, Fairy Jiayue raised her hand, and the energy in her body turned into a beam of light, pouring into Xiao Yang's body. Obviously, it is the afterimage of Fairy Moon, which is the way to cultivate fighting skills. And with the influx of this beam of light, a huge force suddenly poured into Xiao Yang's heart. It turns out that this thing is actually so cultivated. Feeling the complicated cultivation method, Xiao Yang couldn't help but smack his tongue secretly, but he was secretly delighted. If the cultivation is successful, I am afraid that with this set of finger-fist fighting skills, I can easily deal with some strong people, and even become my own killer. Junior sends Senior respectfully. Xiao Yang looked at the disappearing Fairy Moon, and immediately lowered his head respectfully and said. After a short while, when Fairy Bright Moon completely disappeared, Xiao Yang carefully looked at the huge beam of light strung into his body. 4 fingers in the sky. 1 finger calls the sky break the dome, 3 fingers break mountains and rivers, and 4 fingers break the sky. 3 punches of good fortune. 1 punch hits the mountain, 2 punches the ground. 3 fist splits. The ancient and heavy voice slowly echoed in the training room, and Xiao Yang did not hesitate to practice directly according to the method of cultivation. 10 days passed in a blink of an eye. In 10 days, Xiao Yang could be considered to have learned 1 finger and 1 punch. The difficulty of this fighting skill is far beyond Xiao Yang's imagination, but after all, this is the famous skill of Fairy Moon. The strength to deal with Samsung Do Xian is enough to illustrate the tyranny of this fighting skill. Even this simple 1-finger punch, at the same level, can go sideways. Almost. Since everything is done, let's start refining the medicinal pills. Xiao Yang said slowly in his heart, and his heart became slightly hot. Since I came to Do Di Sifang continent, I have always remembered this matter. After all, if the ancestor Xiao Xian did not help him in the tomb, he would not be where he is today. I remember what Uncle Jinlong said. If you want to resurrect the ancestors, you need these kinds of things. First, create a blood-shaping pill. Second, the bloodline of the blood of the 7th grade emperor-ranked warcraft. Third, the skeleton of a Do-Di strong man. Fourth, the soul of the resurrected person, even if it is a shard imprint, as long as it has the power of the soul. If the blood of the beast is from the 5 elements beasts, the bones of the strong Do-Di were obtained from the Yu family. With the body of the Ming cult, the strength after resurrection should not be weak. Xiao Yang said to himself. However, this blood-shaping pill is comparable to a 3rd grade emperor-level pill. I can't make it right now, so I can only replace it with a shape-returning pill. Although the potency will be a little worse, it is still in the body and magical beasts. There shouldn't be any mistakes if the blood essence is replenished. Xiao Yang confirmed it carefully, and then spoke up. Now, let's refine the medicinal pill first. Xiao Yang sensed a very faint light group in his soul realm, and that light group was the last trace left by his ancestor Xiao Xian dissipated in the Tomb of Heaven. Strength. With this soul imprint, Xiao Yang has the confidence to revive it after adding the medicinal pill and body. And the blood of the beasts of the 5 elements beasts and the skeletons of some Do-Di powerful people obtained from the Yu family before, are added to the corpse of the follower of Mingjiao. Let's start. Xiao Yang calmly adjusted his breath, and then spoke out slightly. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Yang immediately took out the most important 3-flavored medicinal material from the Naji. The most important medicinal materials for refining and making the soul rejuvenating pill are Gale Wind Treasure Fruit, Songlong Ju, and Heavenly King Ginseng. The Gale Treasure Fruit, which Xiao Yang traded from Qinshin, the Heavenly King Ginseng was obtained from the remains of the Fairy Moon, and the Kanglonglu was lying quietly in Xiao Yang's collection ring. The fire is coming. The next moment, Xiao Yang called out his Emperor Yang directly, forming an extremely gorgeous scenery in front of him. Black Devil. After a short while, Xiao Yang's acceptance ring flickered, and then the giant cauldron of the cauldron appeared impressively. As soon as the Black Devil appeared, a heavy breath suddenly appeared. Obviously, this Black Devil is a rare and good cauldron. Warm the fire first. Xiao Yang watched the Black Demon appear, and then as many as 23 kinds of different fires fused with Emperor Yang kept flowing around in the Black Demon. A chance of failure. Weng hum. The flame slowly burned in the Black Demon, and with this burning, the temperature of the entire training room also slowly increased. Warm fire can improve the chance of successful refining. Although it is extremely weak, it is better than nothing. This soul-returning pill can be regarded as the pinnacle of Emperor-level 2nd grade Earth-level pills. This kid is really... Ever since Xiao Yang was preparing to refine the pills to revive his ancestors, the Golden Dragon King kept his eyes on Xiao Yang. After all, I don't have much time. After all, I need to succeed as soon as possible and save the Xiao family. Emperor rank 1, 2 and 3, Each rank is divided into 3 levels of heaven, earth, and profound. Your disciple is a pharmacist who has reached the peak of the second emperor rank at a young age. I am afraid that his status in the future will also be. Soul Eater. The Lord suddenly had some strange thoughts. Although he was from the ghost world, he naturally respected the group of alchemists. After all, the strong were respected. Yeah. The Golden Dragon King didn't pay attention to him, so he casually agreed and then opened his mouth. Let's start. Shaping Soul Rejuvenation Pill is an elixir located at the peak of the second rank emperor. It is mainly composed of Gale Treasure Fruit, supplemented by Tianwang Ginseng, neutralized by Tsanglong Dew, and some other medicinal materials are added. It seems that it will take at least 3 months. Time. Gale Wind Treasure Fruit. Xiao Yang said lightly from the corner of his mouth, and then directly opened the treasure box Qinshin gave him. At this time, the box was opened, and Xiao Yang's soul power was extremely terrifying. The power radiated instantly. 11 Ayurveda health secrets from ancient India. Give me in. Xiao Yang knew the horror of this Gale Wind treasure fruit, and immediately did not dare to underestimate it easily, throwing it directly into the Black Devil. Gale Baogwa had just submerged into the Black Demon, and suddenly there were extremely powerful repelling forces all over his body, trying to extinguish Xiao Yang's Emperor Yang. However, although Gale Baogwa is extremely tyrannical in spirit, Xiao Yang's Emperor Yang is not a vegetarian, not to mention that Xiao Yang's Emperor Yang has a steady stream. This Gale treasure fruit is really tenacious. Xiao Yang wiped the sweat from his forehead and said. It was clear that Gale Wind Baogwa was rejecting his refining just now, but fortunately, in the fight just now, Xiao Yang won. Emperor Flame and Holy Flame are incompatible, but in order to better match the power of the body and soul, we can only use the Emperor Flame. Otherwise, with the power of Holy Flame, I am afraid it will only take a month to refine this strong wind treasure fruit, but Di Yang needs 3 months. Xiao Yang said helplessly. After all, there is only one set of medicinal materials, so Xiao Yang did not dare to combine Sheng Yang and Emperor Yang into the Black Devil at the same time, otherwise it would cause the explosion of the cauldron. No, it only takes half a year for the sect competition to start, and we have to speed up. Xiao Yang couldn't help but flicker with determination in his eyes, and then without hesitation, the villain-like Heavenly King Ginseng was facing Hei. Projected away in the magic cauldron. And with the addition of the Heavenly King Ginseng, in the Black Devil cauldron, Emperor Yang is even more dazzling, and the 2 medicinal materials are being slowly refined by Xiao Yang. And the reason why Xiao Yang is so bold is not only because of lack of time, but also to see his own limits. After all, Xiao Yang hadn't refined medicinal pills for a long time. However, Xiao Yang didn't dare to take it lightly. A dazzling soul force controlled his Emperor Yang. The huge energy of life was used as the delivery of Emperor Yang. A large amount of medicinal pills seemed to be free of money, and he swallowed them directly. Go down and replenish the life force that you consume. Haha, this kid, there is something. I have seen many pharmacists. When refining medicinal materials, in order not to waste the medicinal materials, they all choose to refine them carefully one by one. This kid is better. The 2 medicinal materials are refined together. This courage. The Soul Lord hid in the ring and spoke slowly. Hey, don't even look at whose disciple this is. When the Golden Dragon King heard this, he naturally laughed, but he admired Xiao Yang's courage. 3 months passed in a flash. In the 3 months, nothing major happened in Xian Santian, except that after the Xianling royal family announced the death of Xianling Emperor Shenshin, they held a funeral. Although many super sects were quite suspicious about this matter, it was someone else's after all. Family matters, no matter what. Furthermore, this Shenshin is a strong fighting immortal in the Xianling royal family. If it falls like this, I am afraid that the strength of the Xianling royal family will be greatly reduced. It's almost there. At this time, in the training room, Xiao Yang sat slowly, and dragged his hands forward gently. On his palms, a stream of dazzling energy poured into it, constantly facing each other. The Black Devil cauldron transports Di Yang. At the same time, the Gale treasure fruit and Heavenly King Ginseng in the Black Devil cauldron have undergone earth-shaking changes. Originally, both of them were solid like rocks, but now, many cracks have appeared on their bodies. It seems that 3 months have passed, so it should be alright. Xiao Yang opened his eyes slightly, and an even larger Emperor Yang and soul power poured out at the same time, and then crashed directly into the Black Devil cauldron. And with Xiao Yang's blow, the 2 medicinal herbs that were already full of cracks in the Black Devil cauldron suddenly made a sound of shattering. Obviously they were about to be completely refined. The first is the Gale Wind treasure fruit, which actually slowly turned into a red liquid under Xiao Yang's Emperor Yang, and the red liquid contained a terrifying power, even the power of the soul. Shocked. Then there is the Heavenly King Ginseng. At this time, the Heavenly King Ginseng has turned into a ball of milky white liquid and floats in the Black Devil Cauldron. Xiao Yang looked at the two clumps of liquid and took a breath just now, but Xiao Yang knew that the most difficult part was the fusion part that followed. The next step is to join Kanglonglu to neutralize the power of the two, so as to merge. Xiao Yang thought to himself. The next moment, Xiao directly took out the Kanglonglu and placed it on his palm. Go. After a short while, Xiao Yang flicked his fingers, and immediately the jade bottle containing the Tsanglongju went directly into the Black Devil Cauldron. As the Tsanglongju jade bottle entered the Black Devil Cauldron, the jade bottle was immediately evaporated by the terrifying high temperature, revealing a trace of platinum gold liquid. This Kanglonglu is also strange. Xiao Yang looked at the Kanglonglu and felt a little strange, but there was no other movement. After all, according to the prescription, the Kanglonglu was similar to the thing in front of him. Boom boom boom. At the moment when Xiao Yang hesitated, the inside of the Black Devil Cauldron suddenly became restless, and two completely different dazzling powers emanated from the two clumps of liquid. Damn! The liquid refined by Galewind Treasure Fruit and Heavenly King Ginseng seems to know that Kanglonglu wants to neutralize the two, and desperately stops it. Xiao Yang felt the restlessness in the Black Devil Cauldron, and said coldly. Inside the Black Devil Cauldron, Galewind Treasure Fruit and Heavenly King Ginseng exuded two huge powers at the same time, and they stubbornly exposed the Tsanglong to the outside. As for the outside of the Black Devil Cauldron, it was shaking. Isn't this emperor ever seen a storm? Since it has been refined by me, then let's obediently merge. Xiao Yang is indeed a skilled pharmacist. Seeing this appearance, not only did he not panic, but he said calmly. As soon as the words fell, the majestic soul power in Xiao Yang's body, like spring water, poured out directly into the Black Devil Cauldron. And this majestic soul power is aimed at the resistance of the Galewind Treasure Fruit and the Heavenly King Ginseng. Soul power poured directly into the Black Devil Cauldron like spring water. Under the joint suppression of the huge soul power and Kanglonglu, the two groups of liquid finally realized that they were not the opponents of Kanglonglu and Xiao Yang. Simply give up resistance directly. Next, let me fuse it. Xiao Yang laughed as he saw that the resistance was solved with great ease. However, Xiao Yang is clear that if it wasn't for his own soul power, refining the medicinal pills this time would not be so easy, but no matter what, it would be good if he succeeded. The dark red liquid and the milky white liquid were slowly fused together under the neutralization of the Tsanglongju, and the Tsanglonglu was also rapidly fading. Bang bang bang! And this fusion lasted for a few hours. Although there were a lot of forks in the middle, they were all small problems that were easily resolved by Xiao Yang. Boom boom boom! Just when all the medicinal ingredients of the medicinal herbs were fused, a large black thundercloud suddenly appeared above the sky of the burning incense pavilion. What is that? The first person to feel this situation was naturally Fen Tian, the master of the Fenxiang Pavilion. Since Fen Tian rescued Yang Kai, he has not interfered in the matter of Fenxiang Pavilion, but chose to quietly recuperate in a courtyard of Fenxiang Pavilion. At this time, Fen Tian and Yang Kai were slowly sitting in a pavilion when they suddenly saw the rapidly gathering thunderclouds in the sky, but they suddenly spoke. With such fluctuations, someone should be refining medicinal pills. Yang Kai glanced at it and found that the density of thunderclouds in the sky was far beyond what ordinary alchemists could summon. Could it be that the two guys in the pharmacy are refining high-level medicinal pills? Yang Kai couldn't help but said. With his perception, he could clearly feel that the dense thunderclouds in the sky were not simple. I don't think so. The two old guys from the pharmacy have already gone out to fetch medicinal materials, while the remaining two disciples' medicinal skills are far from reaching this level. Fen Tian shook his head and said, "Who would that be? Could it be other strong men who broke into our burning incense pavilion without authorization?" Yang Kai worried. "Hey, I don't think so. But I think it's a bit like Xiao Yang's movement." Fen Tian stared at the thunder cloud in the sky with interest and said it's impossible, according to the tyranny of this thunder cloud. Judging from the degree, the medicinal pills refined this time are probably at the second-rank emperor rank, although that kid is very talented, but... Just as a hesitant look flashed in Yang Kai's pupils, in the sky, and suddenly burst out two figures from below. Two figures, one with a heavy ruler on his back, and the other, four gods without masters, flashing with extremely tyrannical silver lightning. I didn't expect to meet Di Shen Lei in Zaidu. Golden demon puppet it for me. Xiao Yan floated the golden demon puppet in the mid-air of the burning incense pavilion, and then stared at the dense thunderclouds in the sky with his dark pupils, and an indescribable joy was slowly born. And when the golden demon puppet heard the words, he ignored the 3721, and his figure exploded, instantly pouring into the dense thundercloud. Boom boom boom. Dishwan Lei was extremely tyrannical. Seeing how reckless the golden demon puppet was, he slashed directly on its body one after another, leaving some small scars faintly, but the golden demon puppet slashed. There was no serious damage, and every time the earth profound lightning hits the golden demon puppet, the power of lightning in the body will increase by 1 point. Golden demon puppet is already in existence that can rival the mid-stage powerhouse of the 7-star Dodi. I wonder if it can go a step further after absorbing this earth's profound thunder. Xiao Yan finished speaking and looked directly at the shocking scene in the sky. This video will end here.